Well, hi, it's Tom. You ever think about the cumulative effect that history has on you? I think so. It's kind of an odd thing to think about. But I've been thinking about it in regard to the current presidential campaign in America. We have this principle in, I guess it's in common law, and it's certainly a principle that's pretty well established in our minds, and it's the principle of caveat emptor. Let the buyer beware. Now, that principle began somewhere in history, and it began because, well, we deceive one another, don't we? It's part of what we do. We tell you we got a nice used car, only drove it to church on Sunday, little old lady, turns out, things a wreck. It used to be that caveat emptor principle applied mostly to the world of commerce. That's where it started. But today, what we see is that caveat emptor applies almost universally across the board in our culture. In the work that we do in organizations, we find today that just about everybody in a given workforce, with very, 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 three varies, few exceptions, falls someplace on what we call the skepticism, cynicism scale. Most people are doubtful, skeptical, all the way to totally cynical about the things that leaders tell them in their businesses today. It's that question authority kind of idea that I think I've talked about before. So if you're a leader in an organization and you're trying to engage the people who work in the organization to try to do things in a new way because you believe this is what your business has to do in order to be successful, you have to deal with that reality of skepticism to cynicism among the workforce. And you have to work hard in order to convince people that, no, this time we really mean it. We really are going to change. Things really are going to be different. Now imagine taking that kind of mindset and applying it to an entire nation. And I think in many ways, that's where we are as a nation today. We've seen that our leaders, our presidents, our most senior political leaders have lied to us. They've lied to us about little things. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. They've lied to us about big things. I am not a crook. There are weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. And as a result, we range from skepticism to cynicism. Now, what if you were trying to convince the people of this country that you really were going to do things differently? That there really was reason for optimism? How would you go about doing that? How would you go about framing your message as a leader in a business or on a national scale in such a way that you could encourage people to, for a moment, take that skepticism to cynicism and put it over to the side and actually entertain the possibility that things might be different? It's an enormous challenge, isn't it? Because we all know that we have that history to look back on. And we all have that sense of caveat emptor. Caveat emptor. Don't buy this idea. But what do we do about that? What do we do about the fact that we now live in this time where history has taught us that we can't really believe what we're being told by the people who aspire to lead us in business, in religion. I don't need to tell people about the way we've been lied to by organized religion in America, Catholic Church, and nationally on a political scale. So I'm interested in your thoughts. Is optimism possible today? It really doesn't make sense, does it? If you look at the facts. If you go strictly on the facts, being optimistic is a foolish thing. And it's a long shot that whatever it is you're being optimistic about has much of a chance of really delivering on that optimism. So I'm interested in your thoughts about that. It's Memorial Day here, Memorial Day weekend here in the U.S. Is that a reason for optimism that our citizens have, many of them voluntarily, given their lives so that we could have a nation in which we don't believe in one another anymore? I don't know. See you soon. Take it easy. Bye-bye.